So them, Mouse Sports 2-0 Team Liquid. I don't think anyone's surprised by that. We didn't get to watch it, but Mouse Sports next did really well. And so obviously today we have Cloud9 versus Mouse Sports and CLG versus Liquid. Cloud9 versus Mouse Sports is an interesting matchup because Mouse Sports has historically been the team that, they have a lot of strats, and Cloud9 could use that against them. I would hope that Sean spent time last night looking over their strats, trying to anti-strat them, the typical Cloud9 Sean way to play. So with that being said, though, Mouse Sports do have a lot of variations they like to do on their strats, so it could be hard for C9 to actually pinpoint exactly what they're doing every round. I'm gonna give it to Mouse Sports in this one. If there's a team in this group that could beat Cloud9, it's going to be Mouse Sports.
Okay.
So.
And that will be our second stream match on the main stage. And your thoughts on Group A?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the overall results, these 2-0s, that's what you expected, but no one could have expected that on Cloud9's home map. They could almost lose. I mean, that's the key thing to mention. It was actually map point in regulation for CLG, even though they'd lost the first half and only got two rounds. They could have won the whole map in regulation, make it 16-14 and go to a third map. So very shocking there. Unexpected from Cloud9, whose level's been so high at all these past tournaments. They never had a slip up at the past tournaments unless it was against a world-class team. So we've never seen any weakness from them. They were always on a hot streak, Maybe that's like a sign, something else later on in the tournament. If they ever have any problems or they lose a map unexpectedly, I'm going to think back on that one. For Mouse Sports, I think just solid so far. Like the thing with their team is that it's not stacked with aimers, so even winning by just 3 or 4 rounds, that's fine. As long as they're just getting through matches, they're figuring teams out. Really, this is going to be a very sexy upper bracket final matchup, though, because if you think about it, this is a mastermind matchup. This isn't about aimers. I know Nex is going to get kills. I know Shroud and Skadoodle are going to add in kills there. The question is, who's going to win the mental battle? Is God B going to be able to adapt and do different things, throw in things that Sean's not seen in the demos? Is Sean going to have picked out the right things from the demos? Because there are certain tendencies that no matter what they change, the tendencies will be there. You can change your strat, but the way you react to something, that's the sort of thing where he can win the whole game for them if he does that. So I think this is where I'm loving the format. Best of 3. We're also going to have the whole map veto aspect coming into it. Who's going to ban what? Are they going to throw in a wrinkle there? You've watched all our demos where we played on we don't play train anymore,
Yeah.
The mind games get really interesting when it's 2 guys who know that each other is very tactical,
Yeah, and again, you just saw the match we're going to do next. Obviously, Navi Virtus.Pro. That is Group B. Let's go ahead and take a look at that bracket. And again, Hiko, why don't you kind of walk us through what happened yesterday, as well as what your thoughts are.
All right, sure. So yesterday we casted the Navi versus Luminosity game. Again, not a surprise, 2-0 for Navi. Luminosity with, they're 2 Swedish guys and the 3 Americans. Pretty new lineup. Again, not really surprised that Navi was able to take it 2-0. And obviously we had Virtus.Pro versus Tempo Storm. We didn't really get a chance to watch it, but from what I heard, Neo is actually opping over Pasha, which is an interesting dynamic from them. But it's also worth mentioning, as we said yesterday, Tempo Storm pushed Virtus.Pro to the limit on, I believe it was Cobblestone, and Shazam had something like 30 kills. So if he's able to keep doing that, I think for their lineup or their matchup today against Luminosity, I can see Tempo Storm taking that one. And then obviously our game we're going to do right now is Navi versus Virtus.Pro. Interesting lineup, both a Polish team versus a CIS team.
Yeah.
They're, again, 2 European teams. They know how each other play. They played against each other for forever. I think one thing that we really were talking about earlier today was, if Pasha is not opping and Guardian is opping and he's on his shot, then I think if Virtus.Pro doesn't have that op presence, they're going to have a hard time.
And your thoughts on the group?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, for me, Navi's the favourite for the whole tournament, so I was expecting it to be pretty easy there, Luminosity. I've been expecting definitely Virtus.Pro would beat Tempo Storm. I actually thought, if anything, it's Luminosity that might give Virtus.Pro some more problems, but it sounds like, okay, those are some tight games at times there. But again, if you're a team with as much experience as VP, played so many tournaments, it really doesn't matter what the score's like early on, as long as you're in your best now for this matchup, and later on in the tournament, assuming you can get out the group. I think in terms of this matchup here, these 2 teams, even though Navi's a better team right now, this should be a very tight matchup. They've played so often, they match up so well, they know each other's styles, etc. These are 2 teams that have a very similar, very distinct styles, but they don't vary much from it. They don't switch up completely and do something crazy. What'll be so that's going to be very tight in the upper part, and in the lower part, I think that suddenly is a very close matchup. Actually, Tempo Storm were the team who weren't even supposed to be here. They're added in last minute, but the way they've played so far, I mean, they've played different opponents, but they've played better than Luminosity has. So if they can upset Luminosity, it doesn't matter how far they go in the tournament. That's a result right there. And for Luminosity, what does that mean? You've invested all this stuff. You're trying a new project. You're hoping you're going to compete with Europeans, and now you've lost to a team that's like the 8th best in North America. So, there's something to play for in that lower brace match, apart from just staying in the tournament, I think.
Yeah, and we saw the Luminosity guys last night. They were out and about trying to find some food with us, and or same place as us. And they all seem to be like in good spirits. They understand they need time with this roster,
They
so
also
they're not
know,
bummed.
like, listen, they know like we do. Like, it was Na'Vi. Na'Vi is very, very good right now. So, unfortunately, you were probably never even going to get a map off them. Yeah. Now, listen. Playing against Tempo Storm, that's different. If you're going to play Virtus.Pro, hey, maybe, like we saw before, maybe you can do something here. But they know, you do your best against Navi. You try, you hope you pick the right map, but it's unlikely it's going to happen, especially now.
Yeah. Well, folks, you're obviously watching us right now, but there's a whole variety of ways to watch this stream. So we're going to show you, maybe you got an Xbox in your living room and you want to watch it on the big screen instead of on your computer. You can do that. There's all the different ways you can watch the stream. And also remember, all matches are being streamed live. So this morning we actually have 2 streams going. So the lower bracket matches will be happening on Play CEVO 2, and that's CLG Liquid, Luminosity, Tempo Storm. So again, every match today streamed, and then obviously the secondary stream goes away later on this afternoon, and then everything is on the main stage. And that being said, folks, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to dive right into the details of Navi Virtus.Pro, get the map veto going, get these experts' thoughts on the matchup. We'll see you in just a few minutes.
Smiths will chime in with one apiece, so Get Right, all that's left is in a 1-on-3. Does get the first, doesn't have that bomb down, does get the second. He looks like he might pull this off. Get Right, the master. Oh, he sees him. Get Right, the most unbelievable 1v3 in the absolute pivotal time. Put him down as a result. Smith's still in the back of the site. Kiyoshima there holding B magically, but no, Peter's gonna get another one. And now it's Smith's overwhelmed in the back of sight, and Peter magical in the magic moment, and he gets a third. Peter, are you absolutely out of your mind? Because I couldn't predict this.
Toodle at 100, Roka with 41, and Scott's got himself a 3K, so the save of that rifle is gigantic. Lex takes him down now. 1 versus 1 battle here. Lex versus Roka. Who's going to come out on top? Lex with less HP, and he gets it with only 4 HP.
All right, folks, welcome back. Again, we're here at the MLG Arena. The audience is slowly showing up. Again, it's early in Columbus, Ohio. Again, CEVO Season 7 LAN Finals taking place. We're day 2. Big matchup, historic matchup in a lot of ways between the two brands, Virtus.Pro, Navi. So let's get right into it. You know, the vetoes will come in a few minutes, but one of the big things I think we're hearing about yesterday's play, and again, we didn't see VP on the main stage, but they're changing a lot of stuff because they've been in a slump for a while, right? Yeah. So what we heard was that Pasha didn't op very much yesterday, maybe 1 or 2 rounds, and Neo took over main opping, and they're also moving guys' positions within their strats. So obviously they're trying to figure out what went south and try to fix it. Thoughts on these kind of changes?
Well, that's the problem Virtus.Pro always face. It's kind of a similar problem NIP has in some ways, which is if you're in the mindset that it has to be these players, the one thing we can never consider is a roster change, then you can never make that problem of like, okay, well, we know we need this, that we need more of an entry fragger, or our AWP's not so good now, so let's just get that in. Let's almost go and order exactly that thing. Oh, there's an AWP we can get here. Instead, it's like, it has to be these 5. We're not going to change players. Therefore, all you can do at that point is just try new things, mixing things up. Like, oh, put this guy in the CT position. Is that going to work better at the moment? Hey, you can AWP for a while. I'll just rifle, see if we can make that work. But it's more of a question mark, you know. Even they don't know if it's going to work. And sometimes, unfortunately, what you find was the original scenario they had was the best. It's just that like players are in slumps, or maybe your style isn't that effective against the teams you're playing now. The peer group who's with you at the top is different, you know. And so the problem for VP is it feels like it's been a while since they were that world-class team who were going to win these events. You know, it's been going downhill a bit. So they're really gambling big that these moves are going to work. So eventually, if these moves don't work, it doesn't turn things back around again, which it has done a bunch of times in the past. It's eventually going to have to be roster move time.
Well, going even farther on that also is, you know, playing in the pro scene, you play the same spot for 2 years straight. Like, it kind of gets stale. Like, it gets kind of, you get tired of playing the same spot. I mean, we see NIPs changing spots a lot. And Virtus.Pro, who has historically been good on Cash, and Bialy has always been good at A, now all of a sudden he's playing B. So I could see that it's just getting stale. They just want like that rejuvenation, you know, different spots. Neo starting to opposite of Pasha. I mean, maybe it's just, you know, starting to feel kind of robotic at that point.
Well, let's look. We got a key player matchup, and I'm pretty sure this is Taz versus Guardian as the matchup. So let's see what the stats say about that.
I certainly hope not.
And again, you also, I might have missed, but you also have basically flipped their rankings. Navi is now number 3 for you, and Virtus.Pro is now number 7.
Yeah, once upon a time, VP was always 3rd or 4th. They were all, because the thing about VP was they were never the best, but they were always the team that if they just went one level higher, they could win an event. They had that mode, the Virtus Plow, where they could become unstoppable, but they couldn't kick it in that top gear all the time. You know, even they didn't necessarily know when it was coming. The problem is, it's been a long time since we've seen that mode. We saw glimpses of it ESEA when they smashed Cloud9 on Overpass. Game a lot of people forget about in Cloud9's excellent otherwise run. But aside from that, they've had their issues. I mean, the last tournament they went out, and I've mentioned this already yesterday, the way they were eliminated was by Kingwin, huge upset in itself, but then 16-0 on their original home Cash. They got utterly crushed on it. So that's incredibly unceremonious for one of the greatest CSGO lineups we've ever seen.
Yeah. We've talked about their slump. I'm just looking at my notes here. You think Navi's going to win this? Are they I mean, to me, they were the favorites, right?
Navi have shown so little weakness in the last 3 or 4 events. You have to look at the things they've done. When Envious was still a top team, they crushed Envious 3-1 in a big final. Even with Shox in absolute god mode, they contained him. They just won. They beat Envious at Star Series 13. They managed to, yeah, here we go. So they managed to win ESWC. They beat Cloud9 there. Beat Flipside there when they upset NIP. They managed to, What else did they do? Oh, they had semi-finals at the last tournament, Face It Stage 2 or DreamHack Valencia, whatever you want to call it. They were one of the only teams to take a map off the team that actually won the tournament, TSM. They beat TSM on one of TSM's strong maps, Mirage, I think it was. So this is a team which is like only going to be stopped at the moment by really elite level, world-class sorts of teams. It has to be, in theory, a Fnatic or a TSM level team. Now, hey, there's no Fnatic or TSM at this tournament, so if you're a team like Guardians or you're a team like Cloud9, these two teams are supposed to be above the others. It's a given. You should be in the final. You should be winning the event. If you don't, now we've got questions to ask. Normally, it's like if things go well, you could win. It's like no. If you don't win, what went wrong? That's the way we're going to look at these two teams now, and especially for Na'Vi, because they've had this 6 streak. They've had like top 4s the last 6 events. You have to realize the thing about the old Na'Vi was they'd have a big run, they'd have a big nice performance, so they'd play a team close. But it would be up and down. They'd come 5th to 8th at a tournament, then they'd win a tournament, then 5th to 8th to the next one, then maybe a top 4. They've had like 6 top 4s in a row. They've had finals and something like 3 or 4 of them leading up to the last event. So the level at the moment is this team never goes out in group stage. They always are a threat in the semi-finals, and then usually they should win the event. So you can see kind of the path that we've got at this sort of a tournament.
And it speaks to a lot of consistency, right? And they've had the same in-game leader, Zeus, who doesn't get talked about much.
No.
You know, we just kind of, he's always there. He's been there forever, literally almost, right?
Yeah.
Talk to us about Zeus.
I mean, this is a guy where he's been actively playing in the pro scene since something ridiculous. We're talking like 2004, 2005, and wasn't an in-game leader originally. That's the thing, he was just a fragger. In fact, he was sort of just like he wasn't even like a star player. He was just sort of like a middling sort of guy, like decent aim, just sprays a bit, just adds in some frags to the mix, you know. Instead, now, later on in his career, in Na'Vi, and some of the teams before that, Kirshner, he starts taking over in-game leading roles. He's having to learn this whole role. He's never been that sort of a player. And obviously, with Na'Vi, when they were formed, the first year they were formed, they had the most successful year in the history of Counter-Strike 1.6, and he was a big part of it because he set their style. These teams from Eastern Europe, the teams from the CIS region, they were never known as tactical monsters. They were the teams who played almost an NA style, very aim-based, trying to have good AWPers, trying to have good fraggers, and then you're gonna win by just taking the aim duels. So it's not that he went totally away from that. He made like a hybrid style. He was like, we'll take our stars, and his stars were different, remember. He had people like Edward, he had people like Marklov. Now he's got totally different stars. Okay, Edward's still there, he's not a star player anymore. Now he's got Guardian, now he's got Flamey. So to have a lot of success, again, in a totally different era, half a decade later, and with totally different players, that shows that you've got something going on as an in-game leader. You understand, you weren't just the perfect leader for that team, you understand the strengths of your team, how to use them, how to cover up your weaknesses. So I've always been impressed with them. Anyone who can adapt and has longevity, you know, it's very good to win, but longevity is a quality that not many people have in this game.
Yep, gotcha. Well, the veto's starting, as you can see, nothing's been picked yet, so I'm gonna try to get your thoughts on it before we start seeing the real info.
Here's what's going to make this interesting is that these teams play all the outlier maps.
Yep.
They play Train, Overpass, Cobble. And actually, once you get past Train, I think Train's Na'Vi are more of a Na'Vi map, even though VP plays it. But Overpass and Cobble, hey, that's really hard to know who's even better there. They both like both of those maps. So actually, this is a map pool which is almost entirely wide open. There's almost nothing they don't want to go to. The only one I can think of is I don't think Na'Vi want to play Cash. But then again, Cash is the map that VP played close on here, and that they lost 16-0 to Kingwin. So the VP not want to go with Cash.
Mirage as well. I mean, both teams are historically
They love
good
those
at Mirage.
maps. Yeah.
But Virtus.Pro's not a fan of Dust 2, though, right? So you think they would get that out of the pool?
Possibly, but that's the thing. Na'Vi haven't been playing against top teams so much. The thing is, if I'm VP, just thinking myself, I would probably just take out Train. Okay. And if I'm Na'Vi, I'm probably going to take out Cash, maybe, beyond that. But beyond that, like, listen, what they could even pick is very strange, because I could see a world in which suddenly Na'Vi picks Overpass, and then VP picks Cobble or something, you know. This could really be the way it goes.
This would be interesting to see a best of 3 on just the outlier maps and then in the new Train. That would be very interesting.
Because the interesting thing is, if you want to talk about Train, which at the moment is very much considered a Na'Vi map, they're very strong. The last time these two teams met was actually in the semi-final of Gfinity, I think it was Spring Masters 2, the one where in the final VP lost to Fnatic. VP won a very tight 2-map semi-final where both were like full max limit, but one of the maps was on Train actually, and that was when VP beat Na'Vi, and that's before Na'Vi's streak of all those finals. They kept them out of their first final, and so I think Na'Vi was already ready to become world class, but VP had the answer for them then. Yep. So that's why I think it's a sexy matchup now. Forget the fact that there's a disparity in world rankings. The matchup, how they're going to play against each other, personnel, I think it's a really close matchup actually.
Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, Virtus.Pro as well. Recently, I think their CT sides have been pretty lackluster. I'm not impressed at all with their CT sides. And historically, the Snacks, the Bialy are always known. You know, Snacks was considered, and probably still is considered, one of the greatest smoke kind of lurkers on CT side. You know, he'll throw like a really crazy smoke, push through it, throw his like right hand flash up in the air, flash somebody, and push through the smoke. And obviously Bialy is like really good at anchoring the small sites. He gets 2 or 3 kills almost every time. You know, he used to do that. So I don't know what it is lately. I mean, we obviously see there's some kind of discomfort because they're changing around all their spots. But I think that if Pasha's not opting on their CT sides and Snacks and Bialy are both playing kind of, you know, different than what they used to, I can't see Virtus.Pro winning. Like, Guardian should just run them over.
Yeah, that is one of the problems here, is that historically, when you look at the matchups, like, hey, listen, we can go man for man here. Okay, you've got Guardian, cool, we've got Pasha.
Yeah.
Oh, you've got Flamey, it's really hot. We've got Bialy, mate. We've got this aggressive aimer. You can go man for man here, and it's like, oh, really good matchup. The problem is, you look at the Na'Vi players, every star type of player is in peak form right now. Look at the VP player, every star player is in the slump right now. Everyone. Snacks last year was one of the best players in the whole world. Every game you knew this guy was going to deliver, he was going to be in this way. Bialy was always more temperamental, but you knew he was going to have the breakout games. He'd have that one map where he just took over the whole game and he was the best player in the server. It's been a long time since Snacks has had any consistency like that. It's not as in his maximum slump that he was before, but he's never got back to that leveling. At the moment, he's not a world-class player. It's okay. Like you said,
Exactly
Dust 2 maybe for Virtus.Pro, they don't want to play that. Cash was the obvious one for Na'Vi, just because, hey, we don't mind any of the rest of the map pool there. And even though we're not playing Dust 2 so much, we know VP probably going to ban it. So far it makes sense. I'm thinking if you're Na'Vi here, since Train's open, I'm going to pick that. I think that's the most obvious pick here. I wouldn't be surprised if Virtus.Pro picks Mirage, by the way.
But do you pick Train knowing that Virtus.Pro gets to take CT side first, if you pick it?
The problem is Na'Vi's a good T-side team, so I think that might not bother them. I mean, the other thing is, the reason to pick Train now is because you don't know what the third map will be, obviously, so you don't want to have to hope that's the third map, because that's one of the few ones in the map pool here that you should have a little bit of an advantage over VP on. So if you pick now, you know the third map, no matter what's going to be something that's good for you. So even if VP goes, listen, I mean, it's hard to find anything left here that would be bad for Na'Vi. Yeah. Even on Inferno, they're strong at the moment. So I actually think VP is going to go for something like Mirage. I'm feeling either Mirage or Cobble for them. The thing is, like I said, VP's good on Overpass as well, so that could be, I think it's either Train or Overpass definitely for Na'Vi, and then I feel like for VP, I think it's Mirage or Cobble. So here we go, Overpass pick here.
Overpass.
Because the thing is, VP's the sort of team as well, historically as well, where they don't care if you're really, we're going the other way around. They pick Train, which is actually quite shocking to me. That's the one I would expect them not to, but we're going to get the Mirage third game. What's great about this is, in theory, these teams are at least good on all these maps, and I know Na'Vi's good on all 3. So if you want to see a full 3-map series, I think the table's set here. Now, it's up to VP to turn up. They can't just let Na'Vi blow past them, but you've got the workings here where it shouldn't be like, I win dominantly on my map, you win on yours, and let's see on the 50-50 third one. All these maps should be contended.
No, absolutely. And I think if it goes to map 3, Mirage is like both of these teams probably best map. So I really want to see this go to a map 3. That would be like a great map 3 to see.
Yes, but that's the thing. The third map should be the closest. Like, for me, it'd go in this order. Mirage, both of them can definitely win that. Overpass should be pretty close. Train, this is what's shocking to me. Because VP picked Train, I'm actually thinking Train a bit more over to Na'Vi. But like I say, historically, they always do match up so well. It's definitely going to be...
Predictions, boys. It's tough one.
The problem is, Hiko's kind of right. Like, in terms of form, you should just say 2-0 Na'Vi. It should be easy. But when I see the maps, and I think of how VP can usually... The thing with them is, even if they're in a slump, they usually rise to the level of a better opponent. So I'm going to go 2-1 Na'Vi.
Okay.
I'm going to give it 2-0 Na'Vi.
Okay.
I cannot see Virtus.Pro grinding it out on Train. Like, if
no,
Na'Vi
but I
win
think they have a
first
chance
map,
on Overpass, that's the thing.
Maybe. I still think Na'Vi, I give the edge to Na'Vi. Like,
okay. Even with VP getting the CT side, right? Because the rules are if you pick the map, the other team gets the side, so they're going to take CT, right? So even with that, doesn't matter to you.
Nope.
Hiko, man.
I can't agree with Thorn over here.
I like it. Let's talk about Flamey a little bit. Okay. Because he's a huge impact player. Also doesn't necessarily get that much love. I mean, compared to the Guardian of the world.
It's always been like kind of a naive way of looking at the scene, that when the last player to join before you become really good, people are like, he must have done it. But in this case, he kind of did. Because the thing with Na'Vi was, it was the Guardian show. Like, if Guardian does really well, they have a chance versus anyone. If Guardian's off, they would lose nearly every single time. Flamey came in, and now you've got like a second guy who can be a star player who can take over the game. And we saw this at ESWC. In the final, Guardian really had struggled on those 2 close maps against Cloud9. Flamey was like, don't worry, I've got this. He took over, big fragging. He was able to match all of the Cloud9 stars and exceed them. So when you've got 2-star legit players like that, both in very hot form, that's why Navi's very dangerous for every opponent right now.
Now, yeah, another thing to mention is, I played with the Flipside guys 2 weeks ago at ESWC, so they're very close with Navi, and they told me, Flamey joining this lineup, he was kind of like the inexperienced guy, really good aim, like kind of like an up-and-coming star. And what they've actually been doing with him is Starks is actually working very close with him, like during the round, and saying,
That's the coach who stands behind him, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So Flamey's, in his spot trying to anchor. Starks will be like, okay, do this, do this, do this. So to have a player like Flamey, and as well as, such an experienced player in Starks behind him, telling him exactly what to do and making sure he doesn't make the mistakes, like, that's like the dream, like having somebody like that just being kind of manipulated.
It's actually quite a unique concept as well, because I can think of many teams, NA teams, where if you could actually have that setup, it would make certain players a lot more viable. If you've got some young guy who's got really good skills, and if he's in the right positions, he'll get the kills, but he doesn't have the experience to know how to get those right positions, especially versus international competition. He's never played them, he's never been in this tough situation where this isn't working. If you had a guy who could essentially sort of micro him in the back of his head, like, hey, just move back a bit, like play this one off a bit, maybe see like if they flash it, go through it this time. Suddenly you sort, it's like pawns on a chessboard, suddenly you can execute a great move that maybe you yourself couldn't have seen from the position down in the battlefield, so I think that's very interesting, especially because the thing is, Flamey's a guy where a lot of talent, but actually he hasn't had that much pro experience. It was only something like 7-8 months ago where he was the team that like narrowly qualified for that ESL 1 Cologne major, and people thought he was a cheat back at the time because he was just sort of like a brainless aimbot type guy. And so the fact that he has developed into this more complete player, maybe it does speak to that. Like maybe he didn't just suddenly figure it all out. Maybe he's got help. Maybe they've got an infrastructure that no one else has thought of. I mean, I can think of a lot of teams where if you'd have given me some legendary Khan type figure to just tell that guy like basics, like, hey, switch it up a bit, you can play like this, you could have had very different results for some of the young guns in the scene, Whereas, I mean, listen, you want to talk about young guns? These are the old dogs, the old guys. But that's also what makes VP dangerous as well. Even when you have this team beaten down by results and things are going badly, they've been through so many wars. The amount of times I've seen Neo be in a situation where his team just did really badly the last tournament. Everyone's like, they're done after this. It has to be roster moves. And mentally, they're so strong, They always come back. They always have this ridiculous inner confidence, You can tell them, like, listen, you're playing it all wrong at the moment. This map's not working for you. And they're like, no, I think we can still do this, Like, if everything goes right. That's the thing. Because they've been through so many battles together, they always have that thing in the back of their mind, like, oh, it could still work for us, I know how these guys have played in the past. Like, it's not the end. Like, it'll figure itself out. And somehow it usually does.
Yeah. I was going to ask you, the matchup Guardian versus Pasha, right?
Yep.
Does that turn into Guardian versus Neo now? Or is it still
Well, that's what I want to see,
those two?
Because the problem is, even if, let's say Neo is now the designated AWP, let's say he's going to try that, okay? There's no way Neo can go up with this Guardian right now. Guardian is way too good. Almost no one can go up against Guardian right now. So here's the question. If it is Neo who's going to AWP, and some of these maps are obviously AWP maps, how long do they stick with that? Because if that's not working, do you just let Neo get eaten up by Guardian every time?
Yeah.
Eventually, you're going to have to say, hey, Pash, listen, you've got to take this guy. Like, you've got to match up there. Or you're going to have to go all rifle. Now, what's interesting is VP have always been a team that could 5 rifle, because Pasha's actually known for having good rifles as well. He's not just a dedicated AWPer. So if they want to go that route, they can go that route too. So I want to know that. What is the response when Neo inevitably can't out-AWP Pasha at Guardian? Do they put Pasha back in, or do they just go 5 rifle?
And supposedly yesterday he was on fire with the AK, etc. So that part of and Neo supposedly did quite well. Obviously, different caliber of teams they played yesterday, so we shall see against the beasts that
well,
are
the thing
Navi.
is, what's interesting is you don't often see that. Like a lot of the AWPers, it's true, they're not that strong with the rifles, but one of the reasons why Pasha is, funnily enough, it's the same reason why the other ones aren't, which is a lot of the other guys, because they're used to AWPing, they visualize the game differently. They're trying to always be at max range. They're trying to take just like the edge of a corner. They're not playing like safe angles. They're not usually like team playing off another guy for a crossfire. It's a different way of thinking of the game. So the problem is you give them the AK or the Colt in the round that they normally have the AWP. They just play the spot the same way, and they just hope it works, and they get the AWP back next round. Pasha, even when he AWPs, he doesn't go max range. He's like a mid-range guy. He goes really aggressively on you. So actually, you just put a rifle in his hands. That's where you want to be with a rifle. You want to close the distance. You want to get in close, spray, get behind people. So in a way, his game is very much adaptable to going to a rifle. And like I said, in VP's era, it wasn't always just him with the AWP. He wasn't the guy every round you buy the AWP. Sometimes he would mix it up. He'd go to rifle sometimes for some games.
I think also you just touched on it, how Virtus.Pro actually can pull off the 5 rifle. And I think one of the reasons why they're able to do that is because they might not be the most tactically sound team, but they have all the smokes. They know all the smokes, how to throw them exactly. They're really, really good at timing everything. And I think that is why they're able to pull off, not having the AWP, being able to smoke them off, molly them off, flash them off, and just get in their face and, catch them off guard.
That's the thing. Tactically, these two teams have this. They share something in a sense, which is that they're not the team that's like, okay, here's what the opponent does, and here's how we're going to change everything to fit that. They don't ever do that. Both these teams are like, this is how we like to play. Now, how do we make that work? That's the question. We're going to do our plan. We're going to try and impose it on the other ones. So Virtus.Pro, they're the team where they literally will figure out, like, we're going to have to brute force this area here. Like, we're going to have to, if it doesn't work now, we're going to have to go back to it again. We're going to have to go in there. And so, listen, they've got balls, They'll just go into these sites. They'll go in sometimes without flashes and smokes if they don't have the money for it. Navi's the team where they have, listen, here's the thing. On one hand, they have the huge notebook. They have all the tactics. The difference is they're not all extreme tactics. Not like some crazy flash one and one's a molly. It's like the same sort of approach, but like a little twist on it. Like, they were expecting this last time, so if we throw this flash here, that one little adjustment makes that tactic work suddenly. So which style works? Can VP brute force it? Can Navi just keep mixing it up enough that they just consistently put together those patterns of rounds? It's always hard to tell because it's such a clash of styles.
You're going to shift gears and talk about maps a little bit. Train 1.6 is one of my favorite maps.
It's a great map. The architecture.
What are you guys thinking about this new version of Train? Because obviously they've done some tweaking and they're still tweaking it. So thoughts from you as a player, and then thoughts from you, Thorin, too, on the map.
When I think back to 1.6 and I think Train and I think of Neo, I think of probably the most dominant player on Train that ever existed. Like, he had such good movement. He's like flying around the trains, like hitting headshots back and forth. Like, people couldn't op him ever. This Train and in CSGO, it's a lot different. You can't have that sick of movement. Like, you used to be able to like jump under the trains really fast and fly off the ladders onto the other train. So I don't think he's as effective in CSGO on Train specifically compared to how he was in 1.6. But again, like, CSGO in general is just a lot of a changed game, and this Train is a lot different than the 1.6 one. Like, the bomb train is in a completely different spot. The inner train, the inner bomb site has trains that didn't even exist in 1.6.
Yeah, and the upper deck and the window, the whole different flash, all that stuff. But thoughts on it? I mean, you played it a bunch. What do you think of it?
I like playing CT, but probably like most teams, like CT is pretty easy to get around on. T side, if you run into a team that you lose pistol on T side, the other team just gets mollies and ops and auto snipers and scouts, and they push up with like rifles into the smokes. It's really hard to win early battles. Like, a lot of times what you see is teams will try to go out mid early on T side, and if they get shut down and they're not able to take mid control early, they run into a problem. And I know watching Virtus.Pro play on Train, like, Pasha ends up going Ivy most of the time with his op instead of mid, which is usually like the standard play. So we have to see how that actually works. And even if Pasha is opping, like, he might just decide to rifle and go Ivy instead.
Yeah. I'm actually not a fan of this map. It's the map I like the least in the map pool at the moment. I think every other map's got a certain charm. The big problem I see on this map at the moment, it is also why the best T-side teams are, like, at the moment, head and shoulders above everyone else, is that when you're on CT, there's a logic to it. Everyone kind of roughly knows how you play and how to play against the smokes, etc. What I don't like on T-side is it feels like the most random in the actual how the fights play out. If you go to the outer site, it's almost luck as to, is this guy the CT behind this train, or is he just behind me this round? As I'm turning to shoot this guy, is the other guy coming up from the alley? And basically, when you're in the outside site, it's one of the only maps where you can be shot from almost 360 degrees, and you can't stop and just walk and check every single angle. You have to just gamble that, like, hey, as I run in here, the teammate's looking at the right guy here, and the enemy doesn't step out the wrong timing. So what I don't like about that is, I feel like, listen, it makes it seem exciting because you can have all these crazy plays. How's it possibly going to go? Is Olafmeister going to kill 3 people here? Is he just going to get shut down immediately? But I think it's a lot harder to establish like a basic rhythm to the game. So just when I'm analyzing the game, it's hard to tell how well people are doing. In general, I think it becomes a battle of the CT sides. That's why, although I did put in the caveat there, that's why if you are a team like Na'Vi, if you really can dominate the terrorist side here and make things work over and over and over, like, there is room, because everyone else is going to have such a hard time. If you've got the sick killer strat that works, you can just keep tweaking. you're going to have more success than everyone else, because everyone else to some degree is gambling and they're not even knowing what works for them, because one round it works, you think it's because of what you did, but actually the CT was just slightly off in the wrong position there, and you might think that applies to every map, but it doesn't as much. The other maps tend to play out more obviously. Like I could pause at most like 3v3 situations and go, like, where should they go, where would you expect the CT to be? It's a lot harder to do on this map, I think. There's so many hiding spaces, so many flank positions from almost every spot on that outside side.
No, yeah, and like the lack of what the Americans call heaven, you know, the
That was a way to control that.
Yeah, exactly. And there's no heaven, and when you come out of the ladder train towards like E-box, there's no cover there. Like there's literally only a box covering the actual ladder room. Like in 1.6, you had an actual train there where you can jump up on the hitch, you can hide underneath the darkness. A lot of times you see operas actually go ladder and try to pick like the back of the bomb, and now that dynamic doesn't exist. Now it's like you have to throw smokes, you have to throw flash, and you have to run through smokes to try to get into the site.
It's also because what makes it totally different from 1.6 is the smokes are so effective. This is the #1 map for the smoke diffuse or the smoke plant.
Yeah.
And so many situations where there's multiple people alive is like the CTs can't slowly come into a site in that sense, because like, are they already planting? Like we have to rush in on them, and then when they're coming in like a 1vx situation when the bomb's down, the terrorist can't just hang back the whole time, because he can't allow that fake defuse to happen if he's in a smoke, because he might not even know where the guy is. So it adds in a really weird dynamic there that isn't present on most of the other maps, because the bomb site at the outside especially is essentially closed off from so many angles. Every other bomb site, usually you can plant in the open and then you can kind of have free range as the terrorists. So it's got some very weird dynamics in that sense. I think a lot of teams still haven't figured it out. It's still very new in that particular sense.
Gotcha. And then again, another map that's having constant changes, Overpass. Your thoughts on the new changes of the A-bomb site, moving it forward, that kind of stuff?
I actually like it. I think they try to do that to make it less CT-sided. I think it still is really CT-sided. Like, it doesn't really matter if you have, especially for a team like Navi, you have a Guardian who's going to hold down the long gate with his op no matter what. And you saw yesterday when they were playing, like, Guardian was getting boosted up on like the little flowers, opping all of the Luminosity trying to come long. And again, I think we're going back to the Pasha versus Guardian or Neo versus Guardian. Like, if Guardian is able to just sit there and pick them off and they don't have an answer to it, they're not going to be able to win any rounds on T side. And obviously Navi, I think the past like 3 events, we've seen them play Overpass at every single event they've played. I think I played against them even when I was playing the flip side. And they're just very good on T side as to always have smokes, always have flashes. Like, every time they're going to a site, they throw the mollies to clear all the common spots. They push you back, they take the map control, and then it just is the name battle. And as we were talking about earlier, like, all 5 of the Navi guys are in their peak right now. They're in their prime. And the Virtus.Pro guys are all in their slumps. So I really think Navi's just going to take this one.
What's interesting though is at the moment the meta for this map that's making it CT sided again is the old version where the bomb site was further back in the A site, was where teams would actually play further back as a result. They'd just stay right in spawn essentially. They just take these far back positions and just wait for you to come in. Instead, at the moment, teams like TSM, Fnatic, sometimes they play more pushed up on the same site, and the idea is we're going to have contact way earlier, and then you're going to kind of have to gradually push us back into the site, and then you can take the site. Now, what's interesting is VP's good on CT side of this map, but they play the old style. They let you actually come into the site, and in fact, sometimes they even let you plant, and then they do a retake with mass numbers, which is actually not the way anyone's playing this. Usually, if you take the A site, it's because you killed all the A defenders, or you push one of them back, you know. It's very rarely that any other team will let you walk in. So this is going to be a totally different CT side from both approaches. And that approach I'm talking about here was the one that worked for VP against Cloud9, where they convincingly won in the upper bracket of the group stage at ESL, ESEA Pro League when they were against Cloud9 there. So I think it's going to be interesting to see, because it's going to be hard to do that against Navi. You don't want to let their fraggers into the site and then have to retake, but it has worked for Virtus.Pro in the past.
And again, obviously the tiebreaker map will be Mirage. There's no questions about any changes to the map because there haven't really been any. But just overall thoughts on how they're going to play this map out.
I think if Virtus.Pro, if Virtus.Pro makes it to Mirage and they go back to their old form and people are hitting their shots and you see the snacks like pushing plays on their CT sides and they're able to deny Navi to take mid control, I can see them actually doing damage. Obviously, as we were talking about earlier, Virtus.Pro, historically, their best map, the map they've always gone to try to win is Mirage. They have a very, very good T-side aggression to take middle. They throw a bunch of smokes, they get up the short area, they take like the window room control, and then from there, like, it's very hard to deny areas or to deny map control of the T-sides once they're already in your face. So I'm interested to see how Snacks plays. I think if he's still playing the B site like he was before, or pushing mid, let's see if Navi actually has an answer to that.
Especially because VP is a team where when they're on CT, because they're the ones who kind of pioneered like how important mid control is on this map when they were in their peak form a year and a half ago. They're the ones who on CT, they know that themselves. So they're the ones who aggressively hold the mid. Like they won't just have a guy in the window, like if it's the AWP or Pasha. They'll have the guy who's coming in, like you're saying, from short, Snacks maybe. Then they have the guy who's in the A site who rotates in from the connector area, and they're going to take that early and try and hold far up. So they're not going to let Guardian come and peek out and take 1v1 battles, because that's where you're going to lose potentially. So in that kind of a scenario, the reason Navi, it's weird that they've always been so good on this map, is that they never do like fast rushes. They do these slow setups, and you can kind of even see where it's coming from. Like, I've got some info, there's not really anyone over towards this side. It's probably going to be the other side, but you never know when it's coming. That's the key thing. You know it's coming towards the end of the round, but it's which exact second will they choose to trigger it on. So a lot of teams, that sounds easy, like, well, it's definitely going to be this site. Yeah, but you get antsy. You don't just want to sit in the same spot for a whole minute and then wait for them to attack you. So you're trying to peek out, you're trying to gamble, rotate over. It's like it's a real battle of wits when you play Navi on this particular map.
What's actually interesting as well, just a quick point, is I remember when we were playing against Virtus.Pro, we were expecting to play them on Mirage, and one of the things we were scouting was we always saw Taz go in the A halls on their T side every single round. I think literally on one demo, 15 rounds in a row he went halls, and every time he throws like a one-way smoke, tries to get through it, gets a pick. I think Navi would know about that, and I don't think like Flamey would actually allow him to do that.
Well, the thing is, that's why, is because VP, because they know, like, when they're setting up for the mid, they want it to be you don't know which site they're going to. So the idea is they never want you to push through the house area and know, right, there's no one over here, it's probably just going to be the B site, just stack over there. So they always want to keep you unawares there by having that initial setup be the same each time. And that also, I feel like if it does get to Mirage, this is why I'm picking Navi to win in 3. If it gets to Mirage, that's where they really would have needed Pasha's AWPing. That's like one of the maps where if he can AWP that mid, suddenly they have a chance to take that over. Whereas, especially if you're going to go all rifle in this game, it's going to be very hard to stop Guardian there. Guardian is, what makes him dangerous is, he's so fast, he can always be the one in a disadvantageous peak, because when he does see you, he's going to get that shot off so quickly, it almost makes up for having to slow down, having to stop, having to figure out where you are. It's very, very hard to out-duel him in that particular sense if he's got the AWP.
I think an interesting stat we just missed on the last screen was on Mirage specifically, Navi averaged about 10 rounds on their CT, whereas Virtus.Pro averaged 10 rounds on their T. So it kind of talks to their difference in playstyles and the difference in what they plan to do on the different sides.
The thing is as well, watch out for this. When VP play, like I say, they will just brute force if they think something works. So say they've been going to the A site and it's not working that well, like they're always getting down into 1v2s that they lose. Their mindset isn't like, right, A isn't open. They'll just be like, next time we go to A, what we're going to do differently. Like, you throw a smoke, I'm going to go in there again. So what I've always respected about them, actually, is remember when I was talking yesterday about on Cloud9, the effect Freakazoid had, where he'll just go in. If his in-game leader says, we've got to do this, you just go in. Their whole team is like that. Yeah. Like, when they've got people like Snacks, Bialy, if they just go in and do their job, they can overrun you, even when you know you've got your CT defense set up. It worked last time. You don't expect people to just keep forcing something to happen. They're a bully team, When they're on form, they can bully you like that.
Yeah. And when I think of Mirage, again, I always think of that major in Poland.
NIP versus
crazy,
Virtus.Pro.
yeah, just insane. So we'll see if that form comes back. We'll see if we get to map 3. Final thoughts?
Well, listen, I'll tell you, if anyone on Navi goes 9 for 44 over the series, I think Navi won't win the series either. Shout out to Fifflerin.
Love you, Robin. Final thoughts. I think the teams there's a sound issue on one of the players' headsets, so they're just fixing it on the Virtus.Pro side. But final thoughts as we get ready to start this match.
I mean, actually, if you want to talk about the old school factor, it's interesting that in the oldest players in these teams now are all taking the more supportive roles. Neo and Taz aren't the stars of VP. Edward used to be one of the best players in the entire world in 1.6. He actually is closer to a star. I think he's more like the middle guy, the hybrid guy. Usually he's coming in to join with Guardian and Flamey in terms of the top part of the scoreboard. But he's still occasionally, he has some flashback games. The thing with Edward is, even though he's a supportive player, I don't think he has like the mindset so much. I think he still thinks he's like a fragger. What I love about Edward is, if you watch him play, he's another guy who has no reaction, win or lose. He just looks like he's like, yeah, whatever, I just play, mate. I'm not even in a team here. I'm an elite level matchmaking player, and this is my ranked 5s,
I mean, just expanding that a little bit, I actually have heard that that's one of the reasons why there's a kind of a personality clash going on, is because Zeus will call something and Edward's like, oh no, I'm the star.
He's
you don't tell me what to
Ukrainian Semphis, we call him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
See, shout out to
Oh, well, folks, we're just dealing with a technical issue. Guy can't hear something, I guess. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to get this match started. So don't go away.
Welcome everyone here. It's going to be Overpass, CEVO MLG Pro League Season 7 VP versus Na'Vi in a best of 3 with some great maps that don't really favor either team because they talked about it. Like the fringe maps, both these teams love them, but Na'Vi obviously on point. What's your take on it, Henry?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really interesting series. Like we said before, VP are in a slump here, but they're saving graces right now. They're starting CT on Overpass, first match of the day. If they can get a good solid start here, it's going to be interesting to see how it pans out. But here we go, going straight into the pistol round. As I said, VP are starting CT side, and we can see actually Na'Vi taking a slower approach here to the pistol. Normally you see a lot of teams rushing towards it. They have got the 4 armor situation here, but interesting enough, Zeus hasn't got any utility. He did drop a Tech 9 for Edward there, but there's no grenades on for the team in hand.
So to put Edward on that raid boss status, Tech 9 and Kevlar for him. Zeus, as you'll pretty much see him every round here in these stairs, in the connector. Na'Vi's so big on controlling that portion of the map on their T side, but Pasha with the P2K 1-tap onto Guardian as well, and another. So Pasha stepping up here, and under the A site, Neo still holding off. 3 players coming in for Na'Vi, 3-on-3 quickly here, Taz, and Snacks with shots. It's just Edward, that raid boss. Can he step up? 3 people, too much for him.
Yeah, so they went for that slow tactical approach, trying to work out where the CT is playing from. Pasha just locked that down completely. 2 amazing 1 bullets from him, and that's a great start for CTs there. Like we know, like we've been saying before, they've gone the last 2 tournaments not having great starts, going out in group stages, having some very difficult results. Like the last time these guys actually met was at DreamHack Valencia, and Virtus.Pro actually lost 16-12 on this map. So they're looking to get some revenge here, and that's an amazing start. They've gone for the SMGs here. Kind of questionable, seeing as we know that Na'Vi do favor this force buy here. Deagle's armor, and it looks like they're going to be going fast towards B as well.
Yeah, although the SMG is so obviously buffed to counter the pistol armor, so the P90s here and the MP9 can maybe do a pretty good job, as we see though. Na'Vi kind of looking for perhaps a slow B take, but again controlling those stairs so they can get out towards middle. No one from the side of VP has really pushed up too far, and in fact, you can see Neo maybe thinking about it, but no extra information really grabbed yet for VP. So let's see, Taz in the pit holding on Edward. Looks like he's kind of already pre-aimed to get a set smoke or flash out there. 3 players in construction for Na'Vi. Taz is in the position to do the most damage right now. 50 bullets, P90.
Quite defensive position for the CTs now, but here comes the execute, and Siege actually opens up the fragging on the Taz, all down to Bialy. He gets taken down as well. Bomb will go down in the situation. Now it's a very difficult time for VP. How are they going to claw themselves back into it with no actual kits on them, and 2 SMGs in a 5-on-2 situation now? That's a fantastic response from Na'Vi.
And Neo, he does pull out the USP. He's got an MP9, and from this window position, that gun is useless. So he actually finds a frag with his pistol. Now Pasha gets one as well. Edward down, 2-on-2. Pasha might be bringing it back. A double with that P90 bomb is down. There are no kits, though, on the CT side, nor smoke, so they can't even smoke Flamey out of the sandbag position.
Little does he know, he just has not faced it. He just does not face it at all, and he's won. I think they're going to save it. They've kind of made the decision. There's no kits whatsoever, and a narrow recovery there from Na'Vi. Like it looked like that was actually going to go in favour of VP towards the end. But great round from them, and someone actually has disconnected there. So I think we'll be taking a short pause there. But yeah, what a response from Na'Vi there. That's what I'm talking about. When you've got the SMG buy, although it kind of does favour the response to the Tech 9s, I feel like the rifles playing more passively is the better response. You can get the Famouses play upstairs in Heavens for such. For example, and I think that works a little bit better, but you saw them having the SMGs there, they got completely taken out with the Tech 9s as they came in after 1 flashbang, so disappointing start for VP there. After taking the pistol, you'd hope they'd convert that into 3 rounds, but now Na'Vi in the driving seat, they will go for a full rifle setup here. Just to note that Pasha still has got an M4, so it'll be interesting to see where they take it. They have opted for a force fire themselves. Armor coming out, Tech 9s, and some pistol buys as well.
For instance, the rifle you mentioned, maybe in the window, Neo had to pull out that sidearm just to get the range. If he had a rifle, it probably would have been VP's. But here early on, it's Taz moving forward and controlling construction area. He'll bring down Flamey. He was one of the AKs.
Yeah, you've got to question why Flamey's like in that kind of position when it was such a big round, why you'd go down those kind of areas with no man
alone,
with you. Like, it's absolutely crazy. He got taken down pretty convincingly there. Now they've got given another gun, and now all they have to do now is fall back to the bomb sites and force Na'Vi to come in and make them do a plan. Like, VP are in a great position now.
Also, Guardian is the only man with the smoke on the side of Na'Vi, so less covered to even get to the sites. Maybe they can try to use it to plant inside of it, but working from the 4v5 position is going to be very, very difficult. I know Zeus was in that connector area. Maybe he was hoping to come out the door and assist Flamey, but some smoke perhaps
drop on communication there. But now they have no real utility to get inside. There's no Molotovs. They have one smoke grenade. But I think they just have to walk in and hope they make the frags here. There is a lack of weapons on the CT side, so that is working in their favor.
Well, 5-7s.
Well, yeah, we know how strong they can be, but it's going to be very difficult. Taz really is going to have to be the anchor here. And Guardian does take out Bialy. It's going to be all down to Taz now. Will he be able to get anything? Opens up with a headshot to Guardian, and the next frag will be very important. CEVO takes him down, and it looks like now they're going to swarm this box side now, and it should be a pretty easy sweep for them.
Is Pasha going to go for the 1v3? He is right here. Now the smoke's coming down, though, and that was the one. Actually, might have been picked up from the corpse of a CT, but Pasha hits the bank shot. Been practicing basketball over at the hotel. We do have a court out there. Pasha going to turn quickly, finds Zeus, but sees from Graffiti will bring him down. And 2 kills on the round, 4 Cs. Na'Vi now taking 2 in a row.
Yeah, I actually really like that from Pasha. That grenade was perfect. As soon as he got that, he realized he actually had a chance. Unable to get that last frag there, but a great opportunity for him nonetheless. We can see the economy now, after losing so many rifles, the terrorists actually have a difficult buy here. Whether they're going to have to go for Galils or AKs here, but luckily for them, the CT's economy is completely wrecked. They're going to be on an almost full eco here, a couple of P250s, a CZ there. But as we can see that now they've actually opted for the Mac 10s, the nice scouting weapons, and hopefully they go man for man and don't allow VP to get that opening frag again. They should be absolutely fine there. There shouldn't be much to deal with.
You can see trying to pinch into construction. VP getting a bit more aggressive since more or less they're on a full eco, just some upgraded pistols, and the Mac 10's going to work. Edward with what, 1,200 bucks coming in off those Mac 10 kills, so he's playing Farming Simulator right now. It's not even Counter-Strike. Snacks to find another one at the door. He'll pull out that sider. Actually switches to the... Oh, did he just pick another one up instead of reloading? Yeah, full 30 bullets there. Being chased. Still could perhaps... I don't know. The AKs for Na'Vi. And the bomb planted. Trying to save. But it's not going to do you much good, right? You're going to have to buy up, trying to find some exits.
Saving a Mac 10 for next round for the first gun round is not really going to do much for you. I guess he's going to be looking for another kill here. Managing to pick up 2 already has been pretty good for him. What's going to be interesting next round is to see the setup VP employ, whether they'll actually be getting the AWP out or they'll be opting for a 5-rifle setup. We've been talking about Neo being actually the main AWP this tournament so far. It's been an interesting switch for them. We know Pasha normally being their talisman with the AWP, but here we go now. This is where things get interesting. Neo does in fact pick up the AWP. And Guardian has one of himself. This is where it gets really difficult. Like, if you look statistically, Guardian outwarps Neo all day long. So, how do you see this one going down?
Well, if where's Neo going to take this actually? Based on his spawn, he is going out aggressive towards the bathrooms with Snacks there supporting him. Pasha up towards long, and Guardian is over towards B. So the opposite, the first part of the round, not going to hit it off. So it seems that the bomb here towards the B side. I mean, Na'Vi, they love their slow B takes. They always kind of spread out connector control so they can go A or B, but they're very strong when getting into that B side.
Famous for their slow takes on all bombs, that's across all maps as well. They kind of rely on Guardian getting a pick almost anywhere. He knows angles, he knows the timings of these players, but they'll happily wait till 20 seconds before they even do anything. Like they know they're strong enough to get onto the bomb sites and swarm at that point.
We haven't even seen Seas do his favorite thing on this map yet, that Molotov onto the sandbags and the spam through, and he starts doing that and nets some kills early on without even seeing anybody. Zeus, though, does find a player that Snacks there in the stairs. He's going to push it down to get some aggression. Flamey moving out and somehow unable to bring in that kill, so Taz finds him. Can he get another? No! Zeus cleans it all up, and the hopes on the round pretty much destroyed for VP. Neo and Pasha, I'm sure, even with the bomb not being down, thinking about saving. And now, as Neo is smoked off, maybe trying to do some more damage or quickly turning it into a 2-on-3 that they could go for, backs off. Pasha waiting here for the exit.
Unfortunately for CTs, they showed so much aggression. They're trying to go for the early frags. They didn't actually allow Neo to have any impact on the round whatsoever. When you're pushing up in those sort of positions, I prefer the crossfire setups, especially in that stairs area. I prefer when you have players spacing, getting aggro, and trying to utilize the AWP in that situation as well. They had Neo sent towards the toilets, but he didn't get any sort of impact whatsoever. And that's a pretty easy round for Na'Vi. It didn't seem like there was any pressure whatsoever. They lost 2 players, but the bomb goes down. Pasha's going to be the last man remaining now, but 4-1 in favor of Na'Vi on the T side. This is what we're talking about. When they start running away from this game, like, it's going to be almost impossible for VP to get back into it. Next round, well, next couple of rounds, I guess, will be very important. They need to find some momentum here and actually start winning the CT rounds.
So let's look at the economy. Not very good.
No, this
Kind
is
of average 3K there for the CTs.
VP,
Did they try to do anything with this?
Last event, especially, like VP made a lot of mistakes with their economy. They did a lot of force buys, and that was almost their downfall. You can see here they're being quite disciplined. They are keeping Pasha with the M4. He has got armor, but the other guys just getting some P250s just to support him. They haven't gone all in here, which I like. I think they're banking on the fact they know they can get back into this. It's not too late. It hasn't run away from them too much yet. But yeah, we're showing some aggression towards the middle area.
Finally.
They're going to actually show and try and get the early frags here. But Navi are all too aware. They have Guardian. Oh, he actually gets taken down there. No response as well. Blame me as well. And it's going to be exchanging frags all over this middle area. 3-on-3 situation now. Viali does get taken by Zeus. And now they take the advantage. But the next place will be very important. Both players head towards the stair area. And all of a sudden, Navi just make that call. Just get towards A perhaps. They're going towards a long area.
Snacks coming up the ladder. Sees those so patient. He's not pushing out. He's just holding the angle. He's expecting this. And it's an easy kill for him. Headshot onto Snacks. You know, I'm going to take that pistol as well, taking it right away from him. So it is now just Taz. Did go in. Was he the only player with Kevlar that went in here on this round?
Yeah.
Kevlar CZ, or CZ, I should say. I won't say that.
CZ.
So just trying to save again. And finally, that's not the first, pistol or eco round we've seen from VP. You don't have to go all in with your economy, but I do kind of prefer an all-in strategy. Just go aggressive, try to shut them down, get in their faces early on. It almost worked. They had Pasha, though, go alone long with the rifle. I would have liked to have seen one person support him. So if he went down, at least then you can get another rifle on a CT.
He took one down of his own, but now Taz is going to be left in this 3-on-1 situation. If he gets one more frag, that's a really decent eco for VP. Nonetheless, he doesn't get one, but here we go. This is where it gets interesting. I'd like to see VP actually just do a nice passive round, like actually make Navi come into the bomb sites. Last time we saw them push into the stairs area, getting locked down in those exchanges. Taz got pushed to the monster as well. He got one frag, but unfortunately it wasn't enough. It was too little too late at that point. Neo is picking up the AWP this time. He didn't really have an impact on the first gun round. He has got a decent spawn now. Will he be actually challenging Guardian in this mid area?
Yeah, the only thing Neo did with that op was he tried to save it, and when he was doing that, he actually missed his one shot that would have kept him alive.
This is better. So when they lost the frag here last time, they're going to respond now with actually Neo facing it. This could be really clever. If they actually get that angle here onto Zeus, he could get the frag here and just fall back, and it'd be the perfect exchange for them.
Can he see him? Is there going to be a sliver there? No, he's not. As Zeus is kind of up on that little pallet on the wall. And Neo expects it. Zeus is there literally every single round, and it will be smoked off. Neo perhaps going to move out towards construction, that short drain, and he will do that. Na'Vi once again, though, very geared up towards the B side of things for now. Guardian taking some damage, but so have Neo and Taz. They've gotten actually pretty low. And who is this man? Guardian is the one lurking out here by that coil outside of Monster. And I think Na'Vi taking it slow, trying that B side of the map, but things are starting to rotate slowly back out towards that fountain area. Long player 4, that's Pasha out towards long. Still with the rifle. So it's been Neo with, this is what, his second go with the op we've seen?
Yeah, I think this is much better from them. They've looked down the map, they haven't found any frags, but they've fallen back to the bomb sites, and they're making Navi work for it now. The time is running out, but we should say that Edward takes down Pasha. Fantastic frag from him. 5-on-4 situation now, and now Navi, all they have to do, they're opting towards the B bomb site. They're point man, Guardian going in, and he normally finds this frag all day long, and he's going to be slowed again. This is what we're talking about, 20 seconds on the clock. This is their perfect time to execute. They probably will turn this one into a
bit of a
victory.
gap for Neo. Can he get the shots? Yali does find one, but Zeus with the double. Neo does get it. He brings down Guardian. But look at Edward. He's still, okay, yeah, he was locking people in the A site. He always gets up, lurks towards that party during the B take, so he can't come down through the connector and flank. That time he was locking them in the A site, so some time wasted. Snacks rotating over, up in window. Into a 1v2. Zeus is down to 9 HP. He switches out for the op. And that's more in an effort to just run away and keep that big scoped rifle than it is to go for this.
It's kind of interesting. Every single round they're losing right now. It's not coming down to the fact that they're losing the crossfires or even the executions on the site. It's one player getting taken down, and then that thins out the CT side completely, and it's very difficult to hold off the bomb side, especially on a map like Overpass. As soon as a team like Navi get that pick on you, they know as soon as they can do it, they've got the advantage on you, and being in the form they are right now, they're going to win those battles every single time. So right at the VP, they just need to make sure they're playing their game. They've managed to save an AWP here. It would be interesting to see what kind of buy they actually opt for here. Like, playing off an AWP on this sort of situation can be very strong if you can decide where to put him and open up an initial flag. Neo's actually got a little scout as well, so they are actually opting to win this one. They fancy their chances there.
I'd assume that scout's going to go for a jump spot towards A or long. Looks like he's in bank for now. Or actually, no, in the window. So hard to tell on Overpass where they're actually going. Pasha took that. CZ up forward towards mid, Snacks with him as well. 2 players towards B. Taz is maybe going to go for an information grab with along with B Alley. They're kind of coming through towards that B side, but seized as he often does, lurking outside of Monster and just waiting for something. Again, Na'Vi showing us what they're best at, just taking it super slow.
For the masters of this, just looking for any pick they can find, and they normally get it as well.
Especially, I mean, Snacks a lot of times will go for the aggressive plays on the CT side, so just kind of waiting for maybe Snacks to make a move. And Zeus has been on point. How many 2K rounds has he had, or even first kills?
Yeah, he's top fragging right now. You don't really see that from him normally. He normally Mr. Consistent, gets one frag per round maybe, but he seems to be topping the scoreboard now. 11 frags for him. Very strong game so far. 6-1 currently for Navi. As we go into this 8th round, it's going to be a man advantage for Navi. But Bali does answer back. He has got the positioning on Guardian here. Might manage to take him down. If he faces, he actually has got a free kill on him.
CEVO will be able to clean it up and get that bomb that was at the end of Monster, but Neo with the scout from that column will be able to take him down. Edward and Guardian actually about the same HP on both sides here. Neo down to 6, Guardian at 11. That grenade could have easily killed anybody. Edward though jumping up onto the railing, trying to get over the site. Headshot Neo with the scout. Guardian now P250 brings down Neo, 11 HP, but he's got that op. It might not matter. Peeking on the smoke, and Snacks hits the shot. And he keeps Guardian quiet. Guardian only 2 and 6 here.
Yeah, 14 seconds on the clock. Guardian knew he had to go absolutely crazy there and find one of his trademark flick shots. Amazing that Snacks manages to pull it off and get through the smoke there and get that rounder. Very important for them. This is the point now they need to get some momentum on the board. 6-2 when you're on the CT side. Not a good place to be, but they have got a full buy in their hands now, and what a great round for them to win. Like Scout and Orb, and like I was saying, that's when it's very strong. You can rely on the Orb to get a couple of picks there, and Neo doing some fantastic work with the Scout. It can be such a strong weapon, especially on maps like Overpass.
Yeah, and we'll see Pasha now taking up that op. So a bit different approach, and he'll go towards long with it. So far, actually, Na'Vi have not worked long once.
Well, they've been so focused towards B, haven't they? They're going towards the stairs area, looking for any frags they can. They just seem to find the first frag. They're not being forced to actually go into the bomb site right now.
Well, now that an attempt finally failed, even as close as it was, maybe we'll see them trying to diversify which bomb site they want to approach. Edward getting into one of his best positions. His favorite stuffed animal there, the elephant, making him feel comfortable. And some pizza, how nice. Watching in that party. If he runs into anyone, it'll probably be Snacks up towards the bathrooms, but you can see Guardian maybe gonna boost up. Yeah, we see Seized up on top. Molotov into the barrel, so trying to, force the CTs to move about a bit in that B defense. And did someone just get tagged there?
Yeah, Edwards in the long area here. Pasha's going to be in a difficult situation. He has actually got the AWP now. Guardian takes down Snacks. This is the pick we're always talking about. Navi find their one pick, and then they can execute on bomb side, knowing they have the advantage.
And look, Pasha, he's on that run. It's so hard to fall back from long, and Guardian is posted up again where there's no cover. Those changes to the A side coming into an effect. Bialy, though, does shut down Caesar. Caesar's trying to be a thorn in their side. Hit him from the backside there, but now it is Navi's turn to go in to this A bomb site. Guardian hitting yet another shot. He's finally starting to heat up. Edward to bring down Neo. Neo did find Zeus, and now it's all on Bialy. He's just greeted with that grenade. He's coming up, kit M4 in hand. That is it. Molotov to buy some more time, and he's got to forfeit the round. He needs to save this.
Yeah, this is an absolute nightmare round for VP to lose as well. After winning that round there, they're going to reset economy. They have got enough. If they save his M4, they could potentially force it, but that's going to be like the danger time for them. If they start force buying here, they're going to get themselves into a complete rut. Bialy does pick up Flamey there. Consolation frag almost is. He's got absolutely no chance to get it back into this. Him just saving his weapon right now is all the best he can hope for.
It seems like he will bomb about to go off, but already Na'Vi 6, and now this will make 7 rounds on their T side, and potential for so much more. I mean, you talked about that bonus being gone. You're on the CT side. It's so expensive for VP to try to buy up.
This is when it's going to be difficult. You can see that they have got enough to kind of, if they really wanted to force this, they could.
And they are. Neo with the up.
So like so far, like it's been difficult. Their orbs haven't had any response to Guardian. He picked up another 3K that round. It's going to be a difficult one for them. The scout was coming out before. We did see that being successful for them. So this is another round they have to win. Like losing this one's going to force them into a full eco, and then they're going to be in the real hell of CT.
Yeah, they've only got dust left in their wallets right now after this buy up, and not to mention, not only have they not really had, they've had more success with the scout than they've had with the op. And Neo now is going glass cannon here, so. He can't take a first shot from an AK. He'll then miss, and that'll be very, very rough.
I like this boost they've got going on there. It's a change of pace for them. They haven't seen this yet so far in this TT campaign, so they are mixing things up. They know Navi are favouring the B bomb site, so he's trying to show some pressure over there. There we go.
Oh, I don't think that was on stream, but Guardian, someone was jumping from the back of SWAT at Bank, and Guardian just took his head off. So starting off really, really strong. Does get brought down to 23, so maybe it'll be a bit more passive, but again, another pick. And Na'Vi, has, what, a minute at that point to work with now, 5v4.
You can see it looks like they're going to do a full A execution here. Smoke's going to coming in. I don't even see how VP can hold it off. So they've got literally no utility whatsoever. Neo, the Yorper, is going to have to hold them off. He has to get a pick here. He's lurking in this bathroom area. He gets the frag. That's exactly what he needed to do. And now they may have a chance to get into one. Snacks actually asking back on the Guardian as well. And the next frag would be very important indeed.
Zeus is in a good spot, though, to mess with Neo. Neo, he can't get the second shot, so only one kill from that forward position. Now, 3-on-3. It has evened up. They're going for a boost over there at the semi-truck. Let's see if that works out. They were trying to see over the smoke, but maybe a head spotted. You can't be that high. There's got to be someone underneath. Zeus sprays through. Flamey with the headshot and sees burning someone alive. Another round for Na'Vi.
It's just like, I keep saying it, but these picks they keep sacrificing at the start of every single round. It's almost impossible to hold off a team like Na'Vi if you're giving them the opportunity to get these frags. If you're not actually responding and getting the kill yourself, you should not even be facing. Opt for crossfires, make them come to you. But right now, look at this. They're on 8-2, and they've got absolutely no money to play with whatsoever. Like, you can see the look on their faces. They know they're in despair right now, and I'm not really sure what the answer is. Like, they've tried aggression. They've tried going for the AWP setup, going for the one picks, but they're not doing that. Guardian is rolling with the AWP now, and yeah, it's bad times for VP. Like, I'm not really sure what their answer is right now.
Next round for money won't be much better. $2,400 coming their way if they lose, and that's only going to put them mid 4K, so there's no chance for an op. Maybe if someone gets a frag, you could glass cannon op again, but again, there's been no success with the op, so I know it's CT side, but you maybe just try
I think they go for the 5 rifles,
Yeah.
start getting crossfires going. Like, even if you don't have to show that presence in mid, maybe get a long setup there. They know Guardian's going down there looking for picks some rounds, so get the cross-up set up, maybe go close. As soon as he shows some presence, that's when you go for the face. As we said, our big man there, Guardian, taking down Pasha, and now it's going to be another 5-on-4 situation.
Absolutely rough. Well, we know what to expect from this, right? We've seen it enough times. I'm sure VP does as well. It's probably hard to stay positive, even though
Wow, there we go.
Uh-oh, the pistol kills come out. Edward finding one, but just like that, Guardian gets another op shot. It's now Snacks alone. Does have an AK. It would actually be really big to their next round if he could try to save this rifle.
Well, he's actually got the bomb down there.
Oh, nice.
Na'Vi have to get the bomb back. It's a one-on-one situation now. It's be really difficult guarding with the AWP. He's got an idea. This could be fantastic from him. Great shot. Textbook stuff from Guardian. He doesn't miss those ones very often and takes down Snacks. A valiant attempt from him. Getting 2 frags here and the bomb. Good. It could have gone either way had he got that positioning, but there we go. The 5 rifle setup. They know the AWP hasn't been working for VP so far. I think now they have to opt for the crossfire setups, make them come to the bomb sites and allow themselves to actually have a fighting chance instead of going 1v1 against the players of Guardian who are in godlike form right now.
Yeah, it's since the new overpass, the CTs are forced to play out of the bomb site more aggressive, but if it's going to end up in Na'Vi getting a pick every single time, maybe you try the passive setup into that A site. Try to just retake it. Let's see. Snacks, though, still moving forward, trying to peer over this smoke, and that's very common. I mean, you see that smoke? I mean, even I'm going to spam the crap out of that.
That's saying something.
Yeah. Hey, we've never played together, so you can't even... After the finals, we're going to have caster analyst 10-mans.
Okay.
I want it streamed, but it probably won't happen.
I'll probably just go home at that point. Cheers, though.
So, Guardian has taken some early damage. Seized, still trying to get into construction. Taz, though, jumping, will spot him. And I think a player coming into window for VP. So it will be 3 heavy CT defense over towards B. Na'Vi still trying to find something here. They haven't got the pick yet, so they will have to hit a site.
Well, this is what we're talking about. So you can see Pasha and Snacks here. They've got those bathrooms set up. They can play off each other, get information, turn the crossfires around, and play the turret set up. But this is good now. They're not giving the first frag away. They're making Na'Vi have to think about it. They're going to have to do a full-on execute. It looks like they're actually going towards B here, and VP actually have got 3 men over there. This could be perfect for them. They're a good response and a nice play for them, but it might be too little too late at the current scoreboard.
Bialy slowing them down, hit a good flash, got flashed though. In return, and Flamey going to get the entry there. There's the first kill of the round happening a minute and 20 seconds into it, but Pasha and Taz holding on. Tough shot here for Flamey, and Neo will be able to take him down. Zeus on 4 HP versus 4, and VP, the 5 rifle setup being passive, finally pays off.
Unfortunately, like I said, it's going to be too little too late at this point. A team like Na'Vi getting 9 rounds on T side of overpass, it's going to be very difficult to break them at this stage. But that was fantastic from VP. Getting that information, having 2 men in the bathrooms area, 1 looking towards long, getting some intel on middle as well. They were able to give the call, guys, you can stay on B, keep the 3-man set up there, get the crossfire set up, and that's exactly what I've been saying like for 4 or 5 rounds, I think. Like, as soon as they got that in, they were able to play off each other and get the first frag. And a change of pace here, actually. Neo going to be changing it up and getting the AWP and facing towards the stairs area again. This could work out quite nicely for them. They can get some presence here. Maybe Zeus will actually fancy facing this one.
Snacks once again with that smoke pushing up, and I think Edward and Flamey taking damage from a early grenade as Na'Vi were working out towards middle quite quickly. Snacks almost flanked down to 4 HP, and he can't retreat out, so Edward will find him. 4 on 4 as Na'Vi is only on some upgraded pistols, Tech 9, a couple players with armor. Neo missing that op shot has not really. He had, that round with the scout. He was the one that did it, but so far with the op, we haven't really seen much from him at all.
I think on this round now they've ascertained that the teaser on Tech 9 buy. Like, why wouldn't you fall back to the bomb side? They're showing his presence here. They haven't got the crossfire set up, and it looks like Navi might actually get themselves back into this. Next frag's going to be really critical.
Neo.
Now.
He can't bring it home, and this is so rough for VP. Around they should win just based on, having so much more weaponry, and Navi's still in a position where they could maybe do it. Smokes, all the utility nades for Edward, so they could probably get the bomb down. It's now heading over towards B. Seized is already in there and in a pretty good spot. It looks like holding out under the window, so could very easily catch Bialy here. Let's see, Seized actually, not knowing this, pushing around towards the CT stairs.
This is good.
And they're still taking it so slow. This bomb is going to go, if it goes down, it'll be very last second. No one's even at B for VP. Bialy's thinking about going through.
Oh, yeah, I was going to check it as well. That's unlucky. That was a really smart play from him. I'm smoking up. It forced him to come to the lower area there, and he will be taken down. And the bomb does go down, so a good eek of them. 3 frags and the bomb going down is fantastic, but that could have gone either way. Like, had they not checked that position there, it could have been really dangerous for them. But nonetheless, another round on the board for VP here. Their 4th one of this campaign. That I kind of see them losing the next one, and it might be the rest of them. They might only get 4 here.
Well, that's the problem. They lost 3 people there against the Tech 9s.
Yeah.
You called for it. You wanted to see them fall back. You've got the information, Tech 9s. Let's get out of here, because that gun, it's better than the M4s if you find us in the bathrooms. And money is still very tight on the CT side, so let us see what Navi will do. Can they get into the double digits here for T side? From what we've seen, probably so.
Well, they've opted for the 5 rifle setup this time, which is interesting, as Guardian has been so instrumental to them getting the picks so much. So what they'll do, they'll probably slow it down a little bit, but they'll go for a more set-piece play here. They can't rely on the pick so heavily now, but let's see how this one pans out. VP opting for the 3-man towards B yet again, and it's been working for them. Let's see what the other guys are doing all day.
All right, well, Navi getting full control of construction. C's now throwing his kind of signature Molotov with the spray down, allows Navi to get in there, but VP with 2 kills, shutting that down and looking very, very solid here. Neo, there it is. He's got an op shot. So maybe the cobwebs are off. He's polished it up. He's ready to go. And really not a moment too late. 6 rounds if VP can get to it. Like, maybe there's a chance with pistol and coming into the second half.
Anything's possible. It's his LAN after all.
That's true. So Edward and Guardian, they still got the bomb with them, coming back towards middle. There is Snacks in a very dangerous position, and wow, Guardian so quick with those reactions. I thought for sure he was about to be caught off guard. Pasha, though, did get the refrag almost immediately until Edward silenced him. So 1 on 3, 30 seconds left, and he's running the bomb up towards long.
Yeah, 30 seconds on the clock. He's doing very well here to even get the bomb down. Like, the current money situation going into the last round, they're going to not have a lot to play with. So if he can get the bomb down in any sort of capacity, it's going to be fantastic for them. We lost man at Sing Sing.
Is he? Well, Sing Sing's a Dota 2 player, so
okay.
I don't know if he's trying to, or is Sing Sing maybe a different? I'm not sure what Sing's Twitter is, so I guess we'll be a little bit in the dark on that. So match pause, quick sound problem for Navi, it appears. And having lost that round, coming into the last one, actually.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Getting the bomb down would have been really important for them. They might have been able to squeeze it by out. Now, last round, they'll be doing the full Tech 9s, Deagles, armor, anything they can afford. They can see them getting some smokes here. I wouldn't be surprised they went for a full-on set piece just to get a wall of smokes down, just to force the bomb down in that sort of situation. And then we can get playoff post-plant situation at that point. But yeah, like, talking about the next half especially, like Navi, I consider one of the best CT overpass teams in the world. Having 9 rounds to play with, if they do get the pistol, like this game's almost over for me. It's going to be almost impossible for VP to get back into this one. But they have shown some good form, like towards these last few rounds. They have managed to find some great rounds actually not even dropping a frag in the last couple of them. So maybe there is an answer back. Maybe they've kind of woken up and got blown the cobwebs out, as you said. But yeah, a small sound issue here. We'll probably be waiting for a couple of minutes or so.
Yeah, you got to wonder, right? VP here, even able to get 5 rounds, and we've seen that the ops haven't been working for them. But now, when Navi switches over to that CT side, and Guardian's going to have the op,
the op's going to work
like,
for him.
the op is going to get it 1 kill at least every single round. So that will be
He's so
quite
scary.
difficult.
Like the thing you can try and counter him is like he goes towards long, he goes towards middle, he sometimes goes towards B. You may know what he does, but you have to try to work out what he's done that particular round. Like you know what angles he holds, but if you're not able to read where he is every single time, it's very difficult to lock him down. And without VP hitting, like we saw Neo actually finding some more form towards the end there, but I still don't find him anywhere near the same level Guardian's going to be on.
That was really rough. That was actually one of the worst like Neo opping performances I've seen. But looking at the kills, he's actually still doing the best. He's got 13 here, 12 for Snacks and Pasha, 9 and 7 for Taz Bialy, over for the frags for Na'Vi, 13 on Edward, 15 on Zeus. Zeus started off on this map with something to prove. He was going absolutely nuts.
One thing to know as well, last time these guys met, CEVO was actually the MVP. He took a 30 bomb against VP actually, and that was when he played absolutely out of his mind. It's quite good to see like the guys can still, like even when he's playing a quiet game, they still can pull rounds from the bag. The main thing about that whole half was just the opening picks. Like when VP were trying to run the AWP setup, they faced every single angle and they lost every single gun battle there was on the map. And it was really disappointing to see they didn't adapt early enough. As soon as they actually realized we can just do the 5 rifle setup here, get the information and just hold back, and they play the crossfires, it worked so well for them. Unfortunately, I think it may be a little bit too late.
And some more nades bought up here in the pause time, so more smokes coming in with the Tech 9s.
Yeah, so they've got Molotovs to play with as well, so they can flush out CTs potentially. They can work out where they're going to be, utilize the Molotovs correctly, smoke off some key choke points, get the CTs to face them by forcing them, but there we go.
I mean, Na'Vi has played this half so slow. Do you think on the last one here they just do like a very, very quick like 3-2 split onto B?
They'll either go straight towards B and do a full execute, smoking off the main points, or they'll go somewhere like long and trying to get the presence there and push the CTs back and do an A execute. I would say, judging by what I've seen from Na'Vi before, they'll go towards the B bomb site and try and just to get the bomb down there any way they can. And that's going to be the best way they can do. Just getting a bomb down, just forcing that pressure onto the CTs will be really important. That's where they're going to find form with these Tech 9s.